Welcome back to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference, empowering the good, and we love talking about Sky High for Kids. We're honored to be joined by Brittany Franklin, CEO and founder of Sky High for Kids. How are you doing?
Doing great, Jeremy. It's an awesome Monday. How are you?
Doing good. I love everything you're doing when you talk about the fight against pediatric cancer. We have a lot of ground to cover with the good you're doing, but let's start with a little bit of history. So give us the history for launching Sky High for Kids.
So in high school, I was a volunteer at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital through an organization called Beanies for St. Jude out of small town Kaplan, Louisiana. And all of the pageant queens were tasked with raising money. We were able to go to Memphis, Tennessee for the first time. And that was the eye-opening experience. That's when my world changed, truly. I think when you're in high school and you're surrounded around kids that are definitely not in the same health situation as you, it's very eye-opening. And so it touched my heart. And a few years later, we launched Sky High for Kids when I was a senior at ULL in Lafayette, Louisiana, working at Edie's. All of my girlfriends got together and we hosted a sporting clay tournament. And it was supposed to be a one-time tournament to benefit St. Jude, but it was wildly successful, and we were able to donate $50,000, and our world changed then.
And talk about where you are now, because we're talking about over $25 million.
No, it's surreal to even hear that. But yes, $25 million over the past 15 years. It's just remarkable what our army of volunteers, our staff, and our donors have done to really impact the childhood cancer community, both supporting St. Jude, Texas Children's Cancer Center, Covenant Children's in Lubbock, and so many others, including the Ronald McDonald House of Memphis. And so what we've done is we've hosted multiple fundraising events across Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana to raise those funds, to gather the community, educate them on the severity of childhood cancer, and then put our money where our mouth is, really, and invest in groundbreaking research. In fact, $20 million pledge commitment at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital to support the second floor of the Advanced Research Center, which is the largest in the country. That's going to fight the toughest types of childhood cancer, and that's what we want to do. We want to invest in research, invest in comfort programs to directly impact the families, and we want to ultimately save lives.
When you're talking about raising money and telling the story of why this fight against pediatric cancer is so important, I myself have had a chance to see, we do a lot with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And when you talk about the way that they're treating and defeating childhood cancer, it's monumental in terms of moving that needle, that success rate. And so talk about the numbers, the stats. When you talk about the story, tell the story you like to make sure and share.
Well, it's the number one cause of death by disease facing our children in the United States alone. I mean, that's huge. And I don't think people really understand that. 1 in 5 kids still do not survive. Even with the remarkable work that St. Jude has done, we all know when Danny Thomas opened the doors in 1962, the most common form of childhood cancer, leukemia, was at a 4% survival rate. Now we're north of 80, but we still have 12 other subsets of childhood cancer that do not have those same types of survival rates. So we've got some work to do, some serious work to do. And again, I think the public just needs to understand these are our children. They're our future leaders, and we need to give them a chance at having a future, and we need to stop childhood cancer in its tracks today.
Absolutely. I love your urgency. As you mentioned, your support goes much further than just St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So talk about the other organizations. You mentioned them briefly, but dive in a little deeper on the other organizations you all support.
Yes, we also are in an additional $20 million commitment with Texas Children's Cancer Center here in Houston, one of the largest in the country. They actually see the most patients on a daily basis. What we're doing there is we built 22 new hem-onc and oncology rooms, 10 new bone marrow transplant units through the immunotherapy center. It's actually the first for pediatrics in the country. Immunotherapy is the new buzz. It's been through clinical trials, and we are just concentrating on that, as well as helping kids in sub-Saharan Africa. I don't know if you know the statistics, Jeremy, but it's pretty astounding. 90% of children do not survive in sub-Saharan Africa, and 100,000 are diagnosed every single year. I mean, that's some serious numbers. So Texas Children's through Global Hope is also there, and we're building training facilities to graduate doctors in country to be able to diagnose kids and then properly treat them. So we're working with Texas Children's on some big projects, just like St. Jude. We also just committed to $1 million with Covenant Children's in Lubbock, Texas. We fundraise heavily in West Texas. And right now, if your child's diagnosed there, you don't have a facility to go to. You've got to go to St. Jude. You got to go to Cooks. You have to go to Texas Children's or somewhere else. There's no local facility. Well, now there is, and we're helping expand Covenant Children's Hem-Onc and Oncology unit, which is really exciting. And then we work with 2 Ronald McDonald houses, primarily the one in Memphis, because we all know it only houses patients of St. Jude. So we're one of their largest donors for over 10 years. We've built their power grid project, which allows them to never lose power in the 53-room house, which is crucial for so many families that need their medications and food, et cetera, before starting their day at St. Jude. And then we also take care of their electricity bill, and we provide a Rise and Shine hot breakfast every morning for the families. And then we're working with RMH in San Antonio, Texas, and we're building pediatric care cancer rooms. So it's really amazing to be able to work locally on the ground where we fundraise to impact kids, and also on a global scale with organizations like Texas Children's and St. Jude.
You all do a number of things to support patients, families. So talk about some of the different programs. You have Adventures program. Let's start there, and then we'll kind of weave our way through.
Our Adventures program actually started in 2007 when we first went to St. Jude with that big donation from our sporting clay tournament. We met Bryce Norwood, who was 5 years old, fighting Wilms tumor. It was an unfortunate situation where his dad told us that he didn't have a lot of time. And so we took Bryce on his adventure trip that he requested, which was to go to a ranch in Texas. We were so excited about that. In fact, he's right here behind me in our first picture, if you can see that. He sat at the statue with us, and we were able to fulfill that for him and his family. And unfortunately, a few weeks later, he earned his angel wings. And so his family has that memory and that time where it was the last time he walked and really had a good time and was able to be a 5-year-old kid. And so we launched our Adventures program from there. Now we're sending kids to the Super Bowl. We're doing Disney. We're taking kids on fishing trips and duck hunts. Whatever their adventure wish is, we try to fulfill it as best to our ability. And so that's with patients that are currently in treatment. And then, of course, if there's anyone in an unfortunate terminal situation. Then what we did, Jeremy, during the pandemic was we got smart. When we couldn't go into the hospitals to impact kids directly, we started our Cancer Warrior packages. And now we're fulfilling over 100 a year nationwide. So families that are newly diagnosed or in treatment can apply easily on our website, and we customize a package that meets the whole family's needs. We don't want to leave out the siblings. We don't want to leave out mom and dad who maybe haven't even been to dinner together since their child was diagnosed 2 years ago. We all know it's like a tornado when it happens. And so our customized packages have really taken off, and we're fulfilling over 100 a year.
Talk about providing wigs and hair, because, when you're going through the treatment, you lose your hair. And so that can be, we talk about a blow to the confidence and things like that. And so I love the fact that you're stepping in and really taking a holistic approach to everything.
We are. We're trying to fill in the gaps that we can. We're not going to reinvent the wheel. In fact, we partner with other nonprofits, such as Children with Hair Loss out of Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. They actually manufacture the wigs. They wig kids with cancer and alopecia, and have started working with St. Jude. What we did at Sky High was we really promoted this fundraising campaign, peer-to-peer fundraising campaign at our events. women and men cut their ponytails live on stage. People bid to cut it. They fundraise beforehand. All the proceeds impact our big pledges. And then the hair is sent to children with hair loss so they can make the wigs and send them to kids. It's a pretty cool concept that we started, I think roughly in 2008 when my ponytail was chopped in the back of a Ford F-150 in Lafayette, Louisiana. And now it's exploded, and we have so many amazing selfless donors, right? What easier way for you to make a donation than just cutting your ponytail? It doesn't cost you anything. And so that's been pretty phenomenal because you know it's going to directly impact a child. And then the fundraising dollars are supporting our pledges.
Talk about blankets and some of the other things, the other programs that you all provide and offer.
Yes, so Tie for Sky High is pretty unique, started by Maddie Buck. Her dad was on our board. We started tying fleece blanket material together. Super easy. You cut the sides, tie them up. Think about whenever a child is in the hospital. I mean, when we walk the cancer clinic floors, you know, everyone's freezing in there, and the hospitals can only provide you a white sheet, right? It has to be sanitary. We get these blankets from all of our donors from around the country, and we drop them off one by one to families that are in the hospital, and they love them. They're fleece material, they're bright colors, they're Astros pattern, or it could be Patriots football, whatever, you know, patterns come up. It's pretty awesome. Something speaks to a child. And so the Tie for Sky High program has been pretty phenomenal. We drop over 400 blankets a year now to multiple locations. We have everything from third grade classes making these to, you know, the cake bingo group. And so it's pretty neat to see that. And then we also collect pop tabs. You're very familiar with Ronald McDonald House, and everybody knows save your pop tabs. And so we have people collecting pop tabs all over Texas, Louisiana, and now Oklahoma. And we drop those off at the local recycling center every year, collect the proceeds, and then, of course, turn those in. And so it's been pretty neat to have the direct services to impact the families. We're getting ready. March 16th, we'll have 8 families here in our office. We're doing arts and crafts and a pizza party. We're getting them out of that hospital environment, right? Go in, do your treatment. Once you're done, come enjoy an afternoon at Sky High during spring break. And we're doing that as much as we can, right? We're actually planning a big carnival in Memphis, Tennessee. We did the zoo last year where we brought St. Jude families to us in a safe environment. And we were able to just give these kids a chance to not think about being sick. They just come and they have fun and they're normal. We have a photo booth and a costume contest and a magician. There's so much involved. And if we can give them that opportunity with their family or whoever's there with them, then that's our job. That's what God's telling us to do right now. And that's what we're going to do. And it's really exciting. So yeah, our programs, it seems like a lot, but you know, they mean a lot to our donors and volunteers and our internal staff. Again, because we get to directly work with the families. And I think that's what sets us apart as a nonprofit. We are a high, you know, see, touch, and feel organization. You're going to raise money for some big research projects that may not seem so attractive or cool, right? I mean, it's research, but the end of the day, we have to have it because that's the only way we're going to prevent kids in the future, right, from hopefully even getting this, much less be able to cure them or treat them better, right? But again, being able to directly impact them on the ground is really something that touches our hearts and something that we love to do.
Well, now talk about how the community can help, because you mentioned a lot of ways and a lot of programs means a lot of opportunities to serve. And so from pop tabs to volunteerism with the events, fundraising, obviously the financial contributions, a lot of ways to support your efforts. So go ahead and elaborate on how the community can help.
Well, you just nailed all of them. It starts with our events. We need over 100 volunteers to host our massive golf tournaments, clay tournaments, banquets, every single location. We do 12 across 3 states. So our volunteer link is right on our website at skyhighforkids.org. That's O-R-G. You can sign up. You can look at being a part of the planning side of the fundraising event and sit on a committee for 6 months prior to the event. You can come day of and help with registration or, you know, setting up the cook tents for everybody. You can make blankets to drop off at the hospitals, collect pop tabs. There are so many ways to get involved. It's easy. Click on that volunteer button on our website at skyhighforkids.org, and we'd love to have you in any capacity possible, because every single person counts in this mission.
Talk about corporate support, because when you talk about all of these opportunities, you have an opportunity to engage companies and, turn their employees into an army of do-gooders. And so from pop tab collection to volunteerism to financial contributions, you can do this in big ways through corporate support, including with Higginbotham. That's a great example. And so talk about Higginbotham, talk about corporate support.
Yes. So, Jeremy, we're excited to have Higginbotham in our family. What we created was a family member bundle option. Because we had so many events across 5 regions, and we were noticing multiple corporations were attending them or attending them all, we decided to make a volume discount package. So Higginbotham signed up as a family member. They're able to get involved with boots on the ground, getting all of their employees to make blankets, volunteer at the events, and then, of course, give their corporate dollars. And so this is spread like wildfire. In fact, this year we have over 35 corporations in the family. They start at the $25,000 level and go all the way up to $100,000. So it's beyond the monetary dollars. This is your way to really, get in on the ground floor with Sky High. And our family member sponsors get first right of refusal to come to all those patient activities with us. Join us for the carnivals. Join us at the Houston banquet that's coming up on March 31st to help us run the event. And so we have been able to get in front of amazing corporations like Higginbotham, spread the message, spread the mission, and get them involved both monetarily and boots on the ground. And it's been really phenomenal for Sky High. Obviously, we need the money, but we also need the hands and the feet that are going to put it all together.
You are expecting your first child, so you are about to be a mother. Congratulations. What does it mean now for the fight when you talk about for kids and fighting, against pediatric cancer and everything you're doing with Sky High for Kids? How does your perspective change with you being a mother?
I know. What a great question. A lot of people ask, Brittany, why are you so passionate? How did you get started? I didn't have a direct connection. I didn't have a family member. I didn't have a brother or sister. I didn't have cancer myself. I literally was impacted that kind of hardcore when I went in high school, and then continued on and just knew that's what God wanted me to do on this earth, was to spread this message. And I've been doing it for a long time. I'm 38 years old, but now going to be a mother myself, it has just ignited the fire in a whole different way, right? And I still don't quite understand, baby's not on the ground quite yet, but I'm sure everybody's like, Brittany, wait till you see what it's like to have your own child. And I just have always kind of put myself in another parent's shoes. Again, I don't know where the fire, really comes from, besides it's what his purpose was for me. But when you think about a mom, or you think about a brother or sister or dad, and their world stops, right? When their child's diagnosed or their brother or sister's diagnosed, everything stops. And I just feel like, if we can help and put ourselves in their shoes, or put those things into perspective, we need to do something about it. And so I think more than ever now, it's only going to make me more excited and, of course, more eager to want to end childhood cancer.
Absolutely. I love it. Congratulations again. Let's go ahead and wrap up. You mentioned it before, mention it again. Website, social media, where do we go to learn more, to get involved with Sky High for Kids?
Skyhighforkids.org. That's SKYHIGHFORKIDS.org. And that's the same tag for all of our social media, Sky High for Kids. Please follow us. Please get involved. We need you. It doesn't matter where you are in the country. Honestly, you can participate in programs whether you're in New York or you're in Texas. So we'd love to have you. Thanks again, Jeremy. It's an honor, and we are grateful that you are allowing us to spread this message.
Absolutely. Brittany Franklin, CEO and founder of Sky High for Kids. Thank you for all you and your amazing team do. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeremy.